You know, in a conflict as massive as World War II, some stories really stand out. Not because of the big battles, but because of what they show us about the human spirit. And Nina Willner's The Boys in the Light is one of those. It's just this incredibly personal and deep look at survival, brotherhood, and the moments that truly define who we are.
And I'm not the only one who thinks so. I mean, it's been called a magnificent work that shows us the absolute best and the absolute worst of humanity. And that contrast, that incredible tension, is really at the heart of the story we're going to unpack today.
So, what makes this book so powerful? Well, it's really in how it's structured. It weaves together two completely separate journeys. Two different groups of people on opposite sides of the world whose lives are just unknowingly hurtling toward one single life-changing moment.
On one side, you've got Eddie Willner. He's just a 16-year-old kid fighting every single second just to survive inside the Nazi death camp system. And on the other side, we've got the men of Company D. Just ordinary American guys, farmers and factory workers who are now soldiers fighting their way across Europe. Their stories could not be more different, but they are absolutely fundamentally connected.
So, let's start with that first thread, the gut-wrenching story of the author's own father, Eddie Willner. His journey is really the raw, beating heart of this entire narrative.
He was just 16. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't even really a man yet. He was a boy whose entire life was just violently torn apart and thrown into this world of just unimaginable horror.
For 3 years, 3 long years, Eddie had to endure the unendurable. He was rounded up with his father and his best friend, forced into brutal slave labor, and lived under the constant shadow of death in camps like Auschwitz. I mean, his story is one of pure raw survival against just impossible odds.
Okay, so while all of that is happening, across the Atlantic, a completely different story is unfolding. The men of Company D were going through their own kind of war, totally different, but just as life-altering.
And you gotta remember, these guys weren't career soldiers. No way. They were farmers, factory workers, coal miners, just everyday people who left their homes to fight a war on the other side of the world. And this whole company of untested tankers, they were being led by Elmer Hovland, who's only 23 years old himself.
Now, after months and months of just brutal, relentless combat, these men were battle-hardened for sure, but they were also just so tired. Surrounded by all this destruction and death, a question started to bubble up in their minds, a doubt that just started to eat away at them. Was all this fighting, all this sacrifice, was it really worth it?
And this is where our two stories finally crash into each other, in a moment that is so quiet and yet completely earth-shattering. Those soldiers, they're about to get the answer to their question in the most unexpected way imaginable.
After all the fighting, all the loss, all the doubt, they got their answer.
And it didn't come from a general, it didn't come from a politician. It came from the shadows of the German woods, when two starved, skeletal boys
Stepped into the light, raising their tattooed arms. In that one single haunting moment, the men of Company D finally understood exactly what they were fighting for.
That moment is so incredibly powerful. It's the heart of the book for sure, but the message goes so much deeper than that. The Boys in the Light is way more than just a history book. It's a really profound look at what it means to be human.
It's really a testament to the power of survival, even when you're facing pure evil. It's about the strength of those bonds that are created in the heat of war. That brotherhood between soldiers and the friendship between prisoners. And more than anything, it's a testament to the incredible, unbreakable resilience of the human spirit.
So look, if you've ever been moved by those epic survival stories like Unbroken or the incredible camaraderie in The Boys in the Boat, then this story is going to resonate with you big time. It absolutely sits right alongside those classics.
And that's really the question the book leaves us with, isn't it? It's not just about looking back at history. It's about what we carry forward. It really forces us to ask ourselves, in a world that can still feel pretty dark sometimes, how do we find and how do we remember the light? The link to this book is in the video description.